Hello my beautiful babies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal Marie for those of you guys that do not know who I am. Today we are going to be trying out this new Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Foundation. It has come out maybe like 2 months ago, maybe a little more than that, and I finally was able to get my hands on it at the drugstore, and I am dying to give this out a try, because if you guys do not know who I am and do not know my obsessions, I am obsessed with Maybelline's Matte and Poreless, and extra obsessed with their Matte and Poreless mixed with their Dewy and Smooth. It's just great coverage, it wears perfectly, and I just love the way it looks on my skin. Before we jump into this review, first impressions, wear test, make sure you are subscribed to my channel so you can join the fam here and you can get notified whenever I do upload. And now let's jump right into this because I'm so excited to give it a try. So this is the Maybelline Superstay up to 24-hour foundation. Their shade range is a little bit limited compared to, well, a lot of it limited compared to their Matte and Poreless and their Dewy and Smooth, but I managed to get Warm Nude, which is it's pretty close to like my perfect match, and that's the one I do wear in the Matte and Poreless. The claims are for this that it's a full coverage foundation, it's up to 24-hour wear. I mean, I don't know what you're doing that you're wearing makeup for 24 hours, but you live your life. It's a seamless matte finish, breathable and comfortable, fade and transfer resistant, oil free, doesn't clog pores, dermatologist tested. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that the coverage is going to be bomb, right? It's going to be full coverage, it's going to be comfortable on my skin, and throughout the day if I go like this or like I touch my nose or do stuff like that, it's not going to fade or like come off, because that tends to happen to me with foundations because I touch my nose a lot or like go like this a lot, and then sometimes like it thins out in that area, you get what I'm saying? For sure that's happened to you guys. I feel like that happens to everyone unless it's like a bomb foundation. Also it says it doesn't clog pores, which is amazing because I do have like a lot of like bumps on my skin. I can get clogged pores pretty easily if I kind of wear things that are like really heavy and uncomfortable on my skin. I do not have oily skin for reference. My skin is like normal dry, but this says it's oil free, which is fine. I usually always use a hydrating primer under it, so I'm totally fine with that. So my skin is already moisturized. I'm gonna go ahead and prime it with one of my favorite primers. This is the Pony Effect Radiance Glow Hydrating Starter. Whenever I try out new products, I like to kind of wear my like tried and true primers, moisturizers, concealers, powder, because then if something goes a little south, then I know that it's more than likely probably that product I'm trying out, which in this case is the foundation. But like if I'm trying out a primer for the first time, I'll use like my go-to foundation and all that fun stuff. So just make sure you do that so that you're not confused as to what is causing your breakouts. Is it the new primer, the new foundation, the new powder? Don't use too many new things at the same time when you're testing it out. Okie dokie, so now that is in my skin. This is hydrating and it makes your skin look dewy and all that stuff. So I prefer that with my matte foundations, but if you like more oil control and less shine, then you go ahead and do whatever you want. I'm using my damp Real Techniques beauty sponge, and I am just kind of pumping it right onto the sponge. I like that this one's a pump compared to the Matte and Poreless that is like this thing that I have to like kind of pour it out all the time. I like that this is a pump. Okay, so I was seeing reviews and some people were saying that like it looked like a little like yellow greeny on their skin, which I was like, what? And it was a little weird because when I use this color in the Matte and Poreless, but for some reason it's a different color on my face right now for this specific foundation and formula. I mean, which is fine. I'm not saying that every foundation called Warm Nude is going to be the same exact Warm Nude, but I'm just curious about it because it's the same number sequence and everything. It's 128. So it does seem to be blending out pretty good. The coverage looks good. So far, I'm feeling it. I think it really is a nice full coverage. Let me bring it down to my neck so I can kind of look the same color everywhere, because right now I do not. I mean, the color's not too far off, but you know, just in case. I don't want to be that girl. Here I still see a little bit of the redness I had earlier 1 second. I zoomed you guys in a little bit so you can see how it looks like on my skin. It still looks healthy and hydrating because I did wear that hydrating primer under it. So keep that in mind. If you have dry skin, you might want to do exactly what I did. But this is a very nice natural matte finish. It does feel comfortable. It feels slightly sticky on my skin, but I feel like with time that'll dry down, and honestly that doesn't really bother me to begin with, but just letting you guys know. The undertone is like a little yellowy orangey, but I am yellowy, so I can, you know, I kind of can make it work. But so far I like it. I love how it looks. It looks more matte than the Maybelline Matte and Poreless. I'm gonna wear it for quite a couple of hours, but so far I like the way it looks. It covered a pretty decent amount of like kind of like the redness I have here. There are so many flies in here. But I think it did a good job in covering everything else. I like how it looks on my skin. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. It feels light. I feel like they're pretty on point with their claims. Honestly, guys, so far, I am loving it. I put everything on. I put my concealer, my powder, my highlighter, my contour, and everything is pretty lit. Everything is like staying fine. It doesn't feel weird. Everything kind of dried down for the most part. It's still a little bit tacky, but I don't know if that's like my setting spray or the foundation like necessarily. But I'm gonna keep this makeup on for the next few hours. Maybe it's gonna be like, I don't know, it's gonna be maybe like 4 or 5 hours, and yeah, I'll let you know kind of how it's holding up, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts tonight. See you guys later. Bye. I'm trying to like get out of the light because if not, then I get blinded. Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a few, like 2 hours since I've had the foundation on, and so far, well, this is great, but so far everything is good. Everything is holding up fine. It still has full coverage. I'm not oily, obviously, because your girl doesn't produce any oils. But so far it's wearing really well. I love it. It is comfortable. It's not sticky or anything. I mean, I feel like I have foundation on, obviously, because you know how they were like, oh, it's really comfortable. It feels like very light. I don't remember exactly what they said, but I mean, it doesn't bother me, basically. But I do feel like I do have, you know, foundation on. So if you're like the type of person that you don't like foundation on your face because it bothers you in that way, because it feels like heavy or anything like that, like this one right here, right?
You calling me fat?
No. So then you want to keep that in mind, because you'll probably will still not be a big fan of it. It feels very light, but you still are aware that you have foundation. Okay, so I will check in with you guys later. Yes, I'm missing a nail. Don't judge me. Just as I was taking off my lashes, I just realized I haven't checked in, and it's been like about 2 hours since my last check-in, and we're still kicking. My highlight has faded just, well, maybe it's the light, but my highlight and contour faded just a little bit, but that's kind of really it. And I took my lashes off. I look like the shell of a human. But no, really though, I like it so far. Like, it's just wearing really nice. It's not the best thing I've ever tried, but it's like pretty good. I like it. I like it, and it's still full coverage. It's still matte. See you guys later. So let's go over the claims together. I brought it here with me just so I can let you know if I feel like it kind of like pulled through with its claims or if it didn't at all. My hair is looking so good. So the first thing I want to point out is that the color that I got this in is Warm Nude 128, which is the same exact number sequence, 128, for the Maybelline Matte and Poreless that I get, which is like a perfect match for me. And this one was not the same color. This was more, it was more like yellowy, orangey, if that makes sense. There were a lot of people that said that it looked green on them, so just be careful. And you might want to do like some swatches. Also, don't forget that drugstores, you can return all makeup. So if it doesn't work out for you, don't feel like you're stuck with it, okay? Also, it says it's up to 24-hour wear. I did not wear it for 24 hours, but the like about 7 hours that I had it on, it wore fine. I liked it, and it was you know, it was good. I feel like this foundation is good, but it still doesn't replace my Maybelline Matte and Poreless. Like, I feel like the Matte and Poreless is still like so much better. I feel like the only way that this foundation stands out more than that one is that this is much more full coverage. So this is a full coverage foundation. It says that it's a seamless matte finish, which it is. I do agree with that. It says it's breathable and comfortable. It is comfortable on the skin. It is a little tacky, so you might want to set that if it bothers you. But it is comfortable on the skin. It didn't feel uncomfortable. It didn't feel cakey. It didn't feel thick on the skin. So that's also another thing to keep in mind, because I know there's a lot of people that do feel uncomfortable feeling foundation on their face. It said it's fade and transfer resistant. While the foundation did not fade, I feel like my bronzer and highlighter did fade throughout the day. I am not sure if that was as a result of the foundation, because those were bronzers and highlighters I normally wear. But I did notice that they did fade. So maybe the combination wasn't a great one, because keep in mind, your primer, your foundation, your powder, your highlighter, and all that stuff, they all have to work well together for everything to kind of like be seamless. These are all products you're putting on your face, and if the products clash, then it's not going to work out well. So it could have been that also. It says it's oil-free and doesn't clog pores. It is oil-free. It did not feel like an oily, very like super like super oily foundation. It felt perfectly fine and matte and comfortable. It wasn't like a dewy foundation at all. I feel like it looked like very matte skin. It didn't clog my pores at all. I didn't wake up the next day with any irritation. I didn't wake up the next day with any pimples or anything like that. But do keep in mind that everybody's skin is different. It could be that your skin is much more sensitive, but this says that it doesn't clog pores. So that's a pretty big claim, because there are a lot of people out there with sensitive skin. So I'm gonna assume and hope that it really does not clog pores. But all in all, I really, really like this foundation. It's really nice. However, it's not on my top favorites, and I still do like personally the matte and poreless more. There are people that said that this has become their holy grail, and that's totally fine. People say that this is a really great dupe for the Huda Beauty faux filter foundation, and it's similar to the Fenty Beauty foundation. So it totally depends on your viewpoint, your skin, and how you feel about it. But don't forget that if you feel like kind of hesitant to invest in it because you feel like if it doesn't work out or if it's not your color, you're going to be stuck with an $11, $10 foundation, don't feel like that, because drugstores, you can return your makeup products even if they're opened and used and all that stuff, because most of them don't have anything to swatch with. So I guess that's why they make that return exchange policy lenient. You got what I'm saying? So yeah, that is all for my review wear test. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate that you guys watch this and want to know my opinion on products and want to see reviews of products. If there are any other products that you want me to review or try out, just leave it in the comments below. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel so you could get more of my videos in your notifications. And if you don't get any of my notifications, you can just hit that little bell next to the subscribe button, and then you'll hopefully be notified every time I upload, even though sometimes like YouTube acts up and like notifies you late or doesn't notify you at all, because it's happened to me with people I'm subscribed to. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.